Bleacher Report has predicted Trey Lance's stats for the upcoming season. Can you tell us what they are and how they're wrong?
Okay, well, first of all, I had to take their stats, Grant, because they said that Trey Lance was only going to start 11 games because Jimmy Garoppolo was going to start the season. Like, let's be clear about that. They're already wrong off the bat. But I did take their stats, basically reworked them, and gave him a 17-game split so we know exactly what they think he's going to do. So let's start off with the completion percentage. We'll go number by number and say if we agree, disagree, whatever. Completion percentage. They have him at 68% completion on the season. Think that's too high, too low, or right where they should be? What are your thoughts?
Surprising. I think it's probably a little high for his first season. So I think he has it in him, and I think the scheme Kyle Shanahan will create a lot of high percentage throws, but that's and he did complete 69% of his throws in his second start, but that's a little ambitious for his first season. I don't know. Josh Allen didn't even hit 68% last year, so I'm gonna say probably less.
I agree. I actually expect him to be around 63, 64%. So I thought that was very generous, but it also looks to me like they don't expect him to throw downfield a lot. It's almost like they expect him to play a lot like Jimmy G. And you'll notice this as I go through these numbers. So the next number that they have, they only in a 17-game season would have him passing for 3,315 yards.
Yeah.
That's low. That's 190, like 195 yards a game or something like that. That's pretty low. That's low, I think.
It's probably low, but it might not be super low because I think this team is going to lead the league in rushing attempts. So while they're probably going to be high in yards per completion, yards per attempt, because they're going to be taking shots, that's probably why they're going to be above this. But maybe I don't think they're going to get to 4,000 yards. I just don't think they're going to throw enough.
I agree on the 4,000. I hear a lot of people saying 4,000 yards. 4,000 yards is actually quite a bit if you really look at it. To me, I think he'll probably be around 3,700 passing is I think a fair assessment of where. I just think 3,300 is really low. Yeah, 17 games. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. But I remember this, a Niners quarterback hasn't hit 4,000 yards since Garcia.
True.
Yep.
No, that's very true. Yep. But they do have a 17th game. We'll see. 4,000 is a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. They did give him 28 passing TDs, though, over if it's a 17-game season. 28 passing TDs. What do you think about that one?
Again, that feels like year two, Trey. Like if Trey Lance started 10 games last year, I'd say like, yeah, hell yeah. But lacking experience, this offensive line, I feel like that's a little ambitious.
Okay.
Setting the bar kind of high. He didn't play the last 2 years, essentially. I don't know. Maybe he could. He's the talent, but I'm thinking more next year. 28. Wow, 28. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I actually think that's probably right about where I would put him. I would say between 26 and 29. So they're in the wheelhouse, I think.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that.
Okay, rushing yards, 525 rushing yards. What do you think about that?
He should have more. He should have like six carries a game, 6 or 7. He should average like 6 yards a carry. I mean, fewer zone reads, more draws and scrambles. He should average like 6, 7 yards a carry, especially with Debo next to him a lot of the time. This guy should rush. I don't have the calculator in front of me, but I feel like
that's 31 yards a game. It's 525 is 31 yards a game.
Okay. All right. But if he runs 6 times and average 6 yards a carry, that's 36 yards a game.
Okay, so 36 times 17, 612 yards.
There you go. 600.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think anywhere between 500 and 700 is realistic, right? So I think they're right in the way.
He's going to run a fair amount. I mean, if you don't think so, like everyone compares him to Josh Allen, right? Go look at Josh Allen's rushing numbers. He is a consistent rusher in their off, and not like zone read stuff that much, but he gets his 6 carries a game, and they're big plays. He averaged 6 yards a carry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. And here's Josh Allen's a big. Josh Allen, by the way, also rushes for a lot of touchdowns. And speaking of, they have Trey Lance rushing for 7 touchdowns in a 17-game season.
That's 35 total.
35 total.
Go over that. I think he's going to be the quarterback running thing is going to be a big part of their red zone offense. So
what do you think? 10? 10-ish?
10.
Okay.
I don't know that it's going to be a big part of their red zone offense. I'm just guessing that it would be. Like, why wouldn't it be?
I would think so.
Yeah, I'm just guessing. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that the option would be there for sure. And I think a young quarterback, that the red zone is where things kind of constrict, right? And you may not see the field as well. You don't want to make a tight throw. You think you see it, but maybe you see it late, you second guess it. I could imagine that maybe he runs a lot more because of that, and that could result in some touchdowns.
Also, because in the red zone, as you get closer to the goal line, the safeties play closer and closer to the line of scrimmage. So it's harder to hand off the ball to a running back and play 10 on 11 football. That's a good spot to play 11 on 11 in the red zone for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would say regardless, I think around 35 touchdowns total is about where I would put him. I think a couple months ago, I tweeted out that he'd be around 35 touchdowns, probably around 4,500 total yards, 4,400 total yards. I don't think they're that far off. I thought that again, the two things that I had a gripe with, I thought the completion percentage is a bit high, and I think the overall passing yards is a bit low. But overall, I think they're pretty close, actually.
What they seem to be describing is a highly efficient season from Trey Lance, in which the Niners have an extremely good running game, and he scores 35 touchdowns. It sounds like what they're describing is like a 14-win season.
Oh.
I mean, what's their projection? That sounds like a really good projection for the 35 touchdowns and a 68 completion percentage. Dude, if Trey Lance does that in his first year with 2 years, like after being on ice for 2 years, the Niners are going to be a problem if they aren't already. So, wow, that sounds great.
Yeah. I would say that they win some games if that happens. I agree with you.
Yeah. Where are they at for turnovers? They got that?
They do, well, they had what was it for actual? Yeah, I think they had 8 interceptions. Let me see what that is real quick. So that
8 picks.
So, well, hold on. That was over 11 games, so I got to figure out what that is.
Okay.
Hold on, times 17.
Okay.
So 13 interceptions.
All right. Sounds reasonable.
They don't have fumbles on there though. They don't have fumbles.
Sounds reasonable. All right. Well, Bleacher Report, big fans of Trey Lance and the 49ers offense. I love it. I just hope that George Kittle and Kyle Shanahan can convince Alex Mack to come back, because that's the best plan the Niners have in center right now. That plan. To keep calling Mack every day and be like, come on. That plan. That's the best plan.